In this country, they were guided by a moral conscience that was so profoundly Jewish in its origin, whether they recognized it or not, that it obligated them, it commanded them to stand on the side of justice. It's not by accident that wherever you look in the human rights struggle around the world and the defense of dignity, you will see Jewish names and voices and faces. But ladies and gentlemen, we are only one among many actors on a global stage to determine the future makeup of the world in which we live. And not everyone shares our vision of the defense of human rights, human freedom, and human dignity for all. There are those who take a triumphalistic view, embedded in their religion or nationality or ethnicity. There are those who believe that rights for men should not be shared with rights for women. There are those who believe that rights of freedom of worship should be for them alone and truncated for others. We are in a struggle. We are in a struggle to determine the Jewish future. We are in a struggle to determine Israel's future. We are in a struggle to determine the world's future. And none of you, none of us, can afford to be in the audience. This is not about someone else's show. All of us have a profound stake in the outcome of each of these three interwoven struggles. There cannot be a world respectful of all if the world is not respectful of the Jews. There cannot be a world that celebrates human freedom and democracy if Israel is denied its rightful place in that community. We need you. We need each other. We are a community. And when we stand together, the total becomes greater than the sum of its parts. That's why 35 years ago, I thought I was embarking on a Peace Corps-like effort of 2 or 3 years to work with Jewish refugees from the Soviet Union. And then, as one member of my family said, get a serious job. 35 years later, I'm still involved in my Peace Corps work through AJC. It's become my platform to the world, my way of saying, to extrapolate from what the rabbi said, that on the eve of my passing, perhaps, I will be able to look at myself in the mirror and look at those around me, and especially my children, and say, I gave it my all. We may not have fully succeeded. At the end of the day, this is a relay race. Each of us gets to carry the baton for a period of time. We know not how long. But if we're not prepared to carry the baton, if we're not prepared to join in the team effort, if we're not prepared to work together, we will not succeed in these three titanic struggles. Finally, in 1981, when I was in the Soviet Union trying to quietly distribute Jewish material to a beleaguered population, we were under the watchful eyes of the KGB. We had a little booth in a large book fair that Moscow held every 2 years, and a long line of Jews found us and waited to see what we had. And there was one elderly man who came to the booth and who stayed. And eventually I approached him and said, "Sir, would you please move on? Others would like to come." And he said to me at the time, "Молодой парень, young man, you don't understand. I don't read Hebrew. I can't read the Hebrew books. I don't read English. I can't read the English books. But don't deny me this chance, if only once in my lifetime, to breathe the Jewish air of this space." That was in Moscow in 1981. 29 years later, we're breathing freely and beautifully the Jewish space of Karamor. Let's never, ever become complacent or ever take it for granted. Shana Tova.